Welcome to our tutorial on Caustics Effects. Caustic effects are the result of light going through one or a few specular reflections and diffusing off of objects and then reflecting to the viewer. The best way to explain what caustics effects are is to show you, so let's start by rendering this scene. This is a scene without any effects. Now, let's take a look at our Options dialog window. Activate the Illuminations tab. Let's enable Caustic Effects. We can opt to use the default caustic radius, or we can set a custom caustic radius. Let's select a custom caustic radius. Caustic accuracy can be adjusted with this slider. And check here to have all appearances cast and receive caustics by default. Apply and close. Let's render the scene again. We now see the caustic effects on the scene. They're everywhere except the decal. The reason for this is that the illumination on the decal is set to constant. Let's double-click on the decal. Now let's activate the Illumination tab. From the Illumination Type drop-down menu, let's select Matte instead of Constant. Let's adjust the Diffuse property to about 0.45. And here is our preview of the caustic effect. Click OK. And let's re-render our scene. Now we've got caustic effects applied to our decal also. Let's take a look at the next option related to our decal. We go to the Feature Manager, expand the Lights, Cameras and Scenes folder. Let's right-click on Directional 1 and select Properties. Now let's go to Photoworks Properties. Here we can adjust the energy level and the number of C and G photons. Let's enter 40 for our energy level tab. Click OK and render again. Now we see the photons appear more intense. Let's right-click again, select Properties, and select Photoworks Properties. This time, for the purposes of demonstration, let's change the number of C protons to 10. Tab and OK. We'll render the scene again now to see what it looks like. As you can see, the number of photons is greatly reduced. Let's go back to our original settings. Right-click, Properties, Photoworks Properties. Let's restore the energy intensity to 10 and the number of C photons to 1000. Click OK, and let's go back to Options. Select the Illumination tab. Let's now uncheck all appearances cast and receive caustics by default. Click Apply and close. Now let's go to the Render Manager, right-click on Appearance, and expand all below. First, let's double-click on Blue Glass. Under Illumination Properties, we have caustic options here. We didn't have these before because we'd checked all appearances cast and receive caustics by default. Okay, let's take a minute to see how these two options work. For the green bottle, let's check Receive. The diffuse value is set to 0.8. Let's click OK. Next, we've got the table. And let's go to the Illumination Properties tab, Mirror, and let's opt to receive caustics this time. Diffuse, let's leave it at its current setting of 0.3 and click OK. The next material is reflective green glass. Let's double-click on it. and we'll go to the Illumination tab. Here the illumination is set to glass. I want this material to cast light rays. Here is my preview. Before, I didn't see anything in the preview window because I hadn't selected a component for casting the caustics, so nothing was reflecting light before. And let's click OK. Lastly, we've got the plastic cap. Let's open this material. And for the purposes of this demonstration, let's not have this component receive any caustics. Now let's render our scene. One more thing here. The effect we see on the glass is not a caustic effect. Let's go to Options, and from there we'll select the Document Properties tab. Under Ray Tracing, let's set the number of reflections to 0. We're going to check out ray tracing in more detail in our next tutorial. So let's click Apply and Close and then Render again. As the rendering process happens, you see that the glass, without effects applied to it, is barely visible right now. As well, you see that the cap doesn't have any caustic effects applied to it. And this concludes our tutorial on caustic effects.